Hey YouTube! Today I'm doing a book tag. This is the bookshelf scavenger hunt, and it was created by the Library of Sarah, and I will link up this video to her video so you can see that down below. And if I keep looking off to the side, that's because I'm looking at my list of all the criteria to look for in my bookshelf. Now, because I have no idea how to edit things so that I can speed up time, and it would probably just take forever for me to find everything. I've already found the books and things I need to find for scavenger hunt, so I'm just going to let you see what I have that fits all the different criteria. So the first thing is to find a book with an author's name or title that has a Z in it. So the book that I have is What's Left of Me by Kat Zhang. Z is in the author's last name. The second book is to find a classic. So I have quite a few classics, not all here because a lot of my books are at my parents' house and all over the place, but from what I have here, and it's one of my favorites, so I'm going with Far From the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. Find a book with a key on it. At first, I didn't think I had one, but I found one, surprisingly enough. And look at the key. This is The Devlin Diary by Christy Phillips. Next is to find something on your bookshelf that's not a book. So I just got the new bookshelf, so it's pretty much just books, but one thing I did notice that I have on here that isn't a book is this DVD, which is Romeo and Juliet, which is a really cute movie based on Romeo and Juliet, but they're all garden gnomes. I also like this, especially because one of the voices is Dame Judi Dench, one of my favorite actresses. But yeah, so that's what I have for that. Next is find the oldest book on your shelf. So no doubt it's this, A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. And this book I had since like elementary school, like when I was in elementary school, so it was a little while ago. And it's like all taped up, and I got it like for 25 cents from the school library book sale at one point. So like it basically looked like this when I bought it. Because I would not do this to my book. But yes, it's like falling apart. Like you can see right through it. I can see you. But since then I've got a newer copy of it, but still, this is the oldest one on my shelf. Next is find a book with a girl on it. So for that one, I'm going with Born of Illusion by Terry Brown. And this is a book that I believe I haven't read it yet, but it's about a girl who's actually the illegitimate daughter of Houdini, and kind of things that I guess he's passed on to her in the way of illusions and magic, I think. The next criteria is to find a book that has an animal in it. So with that, I went with Pure by Juliana Baggett, even though it does have a butterfly on it. In it, there are several different animals, but the one that comes to mind is there is one character who has birds that are fused into his back after an apocalyptic disaster. So that's animals. Next is find a book with a male protagonist. For that one I'm going with Flight by Angie Sage, and this is the main character is Septimus Heap, who is the seventh son of a magical family, I believe. I'll be reading the first book in this series for the booktubeathon. I'm excited. Okay. Next is to find a book with only words on it. Now I have a book at my parents' house I know that is just words, and I'm sad that it's not here. But the closest I could get here with the books I have is The Wish List by Ian Colfer. And even though you could say that it's got like fire in the background, it's mostly just like colored. So I think it'll count. I'm going with that anyways. The next one is to find a book with illustrations in it. So I'm going with some manga, Death Note, number 1, boredom, and it is definitely very illustrated. The next category is to find a book with gold lettering. I found this was a lot easier than most of the other categories. Seems like I have a lot of gold lettering books for some reason. So the one I'm going with is The Secret Life of Josephine by Carolee Erickson, which is a historical fiction about the first wife of Napoleon Bonaparte, Josephine. Next is to find a diary, true or fictional. So I'm going with the My Story series, To Kill a Queen, which is an Elizabethan girl's diary from 1583 to 1586. And it is all written in diary entries. Next is find a book written by someone with a common name, like Smith. So I'm going with one of my favorite authors with the last name of Smith. I'm going with The Royal Mistress by Anne Esther Smith. And I still don't know if it's Anne Easter or Anne Esther, but she's still Smith. And then find a book that has a close-up of something on it. So for that, I am going with Frostbitten by Kelly Armstrong, and it has this is I think it's a woman's back. You can see like her spine, like the bones protruding in this cover. And next we have find a book on your shelf that takes place in the earliest time period. So I am not exactly sure when this takes place, but I'm going with Nefertiti by Michelle Moran, and more gold lettering. But this is during the time of Nefertiti being in Egypt. Let's see. Well, I thought I saw a date. Yes, chapter 1 starts in 1351 BCE. So that's a pretty long time ago. Next we have find a hardcover book without a jacket. So for that I'm going with Eliot, book number 1. So this is Eliot and the Goblin War by Jennifer A. Nielsen, and it is indeed a hardcover book without a jacket. That's the way it came. I guess how it's sold. Yeah. Next is find a teal or turquoise colored book. So the closest I can think of at the moment, which you may, I don't know if there's other ones, but I'm going with My Name is Memory by Anne Brashers. And at certain angles, this book does look kind of like a tealy aqua. Yes. And second to last is find a book with stars on it. For that one, I am going with Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. And it has, which is maybe hard to see on this camera, but in this blue here, there's actually like tiny like stars meant to be in the sky, because you can see like the moon up here, and then there's like a few little stars all in the background in the blue. So it counts, I'm sure. And the last question is find a non-YA book. So a lot of the books that I've already picked are non-YA, and I have a lot of other ones that I could pick that were non-YA, so I just went with one that's just different completely. So I'm going with 5-Minute Face, the quick and easy makeup guide for every woman by Carmody, and she was a makeup artist on TLC's What Not to Wear, which was a show that I watched a lot. Not that recently, but in the past. So that is what I am going with. So those are the books that I found when I scavenged my bookshelf. So I would love to know what you have on your shelf, and if you want to do this tag, I'm not going to tag anyone specific because I'm not sure who did it and who hasn't, because it's been a while that's been out, but if you haven't done it, I tag you. Have a great day, guys. Bye!